Hello, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Raji Rajagopalan, and I'm a VP of Product in the AI Foundry team. And it is my pleasure to talk to you today about Foundry Local, which was just introduced this morning by Satya in his keynote. And let me begin by saying that we are at a powerful moment for AI, where AI is coming local. And it is not just for explorations and proof of concepts and prototypes. It is for building real apps for real people on real devices. And I want to share with you today why this moment matters and how you can lead in this moment for AI. We have been preparing for this moment for many, many years. In fact, for the last 60 years, thanks to Moore's Law, hardware has been getting more and more and more powerful. More hardware is capable of running local models now. And with the advent of powerful GPUs, NPUs, and CPUs, and Copilot plus PCs, there is more hardware that can run models, but models are also getting smaller, sleeker, and faster. We saw that with the breathtaking pace with which DeepSeek arrived, how easy it is for us to run models locally. At the same time, we've also been making optimizations, algorithmic optimizations and innovations like web GPU and transformers that have now made it more efficient to run these models on local hardware. We are at a tipping point for local AI, and that is why we're introducing Foundry Local. But that is not the only reason why we are introducing Foundry Local. We are introducing Foundry Local because our customers have talked to us about why local AI matters to them. For example, you see Liquid Text on the screen here. Liquid Text is a customer of ours, and they have been telling us about a use case of theirs where they have sensitive legal documents, customer documents, on their customer devices, and they don't want these documents to leave the devices, and yet they want to apply AI on top of the documents. You also see Moises Live there. Moises Live has a music AI product that needs the low latency of local on-device audio processing with AI on devices. Privacy and security and latency are two use cases that our customers have talked to us about. Cost efficiency is another one. A game developer customer of ours have told us about their games being available on tens of millions of devices out there, requiring hundreds of millions of inferencing calls, and it can get quite costly quite soon, and they want to make sure that their games are powered with AI and do so cost efficiently. And lastly, low bandwidth use case, low bandwidth and occasionally connected use case. Many of you have probably traveled here from other parts of the world, and you probably were on a plane where the Wi-Fi was not that reliable or not that great, and you still want to use AI even in those scenarios. Or you could be like a customer of ours who has remote distribution centers in remote regions of Africa and Asia, and they still want to be able to rely on AI. So as we think about democratizing AI, these are the use cases that matter to us. And these are the use cases that are the foundation of Foundry Local. But we're not starting from scratch. We are bringing multiple assets from across the company, from across Microsoft, to bring you Foundry Local. Azure AI Foundry was introduced last year at Ignite, and it is trusted by many, many, many organizations. Over 70,000 organizations use Azure AI Foundry with over 1,900 models, open source models, proprietary models. Many organizations use Azure AI Foundry. We are using that as an asset, as something that we're building on top of for Foundry Local. Onyx Runtime is the cross-platform on-device inferencing runtime out there. It was introduced in 2017, has seen organic growth and adoption. We see 10 million downloads a month, 4 times acceleration in our own testing compared to raw PyTorch models. So it is a very high-performing runtime for AI. And last but not least, Windows. The scale and reach of Windows is just massive. And as we think about democratizing AI, hundreds of millions of customers on Windows devices really matter to us. So we are bringing these assets together to bring you Foundry Local. But what is Foundry Local? So Foundry Local is your fast, flexible, private, offline-enabled runtime, AI runtime, that you can use to run models, tools as MCP servers, and agents locally. At the very bottom, as I said, you have Onyx Runtime, the high-performant on-device runtime that is able to accelerate across multiple different kinds of silica. And then you have Foundry Local Management Service that we are introducing today, and that is capable of hosting and managing models on your local devices. It also connects to Azure AI Foundry to download open source models on demand. And then you have on top the nifty little Foundry Local CLI that you can use to explore models on device. You can use Foundry Local in your own applications using the Azure Foundry Inference SDK, so your code is portable across cloud and local. And then lastly, you have the Foundry Local Management SDK that you can use to interact with the Foundry Local Management Service, so you can start the service, you can load models all from your own application. Foundry Local is available today on Windows and Mac OS. But on Windows, it is integrated into the platform. We have been working very closely with many hardware vendors, such as NVIDIA, Intel, AMD, and Qualcomm, to make sure that these execution providers, the EPs that you see at the bottom, are highly optimized and deliver top-class, best-in-class performance across multiple silicon. And a best-in-class technology, a best-in-class product definitely needs technology to power it, but it's not just the technology. It is the community as well. And we have been working with 100+ private preview customers who've really been co-building with us, giving us great feedback. They've been giving us feedback on how easy it is to use Foundry Local, what the performance of Foundry Local is like. So it's been a pleasure and a privilege for us to work with these 100+ private preview customers to bring you Foundry Local. But don't just hear it from me. I want you to hear it from a couple of these customers in this video. So let me play the video for you here.
Hey there, Sava here, CEO and co-founder at Pieces, where we've been on an ambitious journey to give developers artificial long-term memory across the OS. Now, offline-first AI is core to this vision, and in late 2022, we began to explore small language models running at the edge on all major platforms. But between rolling our own Llama C++ and then to ollama, frustrations around versioning, performance, and end-user experience still remained. That was until our recent partnership with Microsoft on their new Foundry Local platform, an end-to-end AI inference solution that offers ease of use and high performance across different hardware. In no time, our team went from documentation access to a production-ready build with noticeable improvements in memory management, time to first token, and tokens per second. If you're looking to deploy on-device models, you can't go wrong with Foundry Local.
We have been working on AI projects for our customers for several years now.
Some clients want to use the latest AI technologies, but are restricted from using external services when the information they want to process contains sensitive data. Foundry Local is a perfect solution for these scenarios, as it allows us to easily run Gen AI models locally. Here, we can see a solution that combines Foundry Local with a speech-to-text service.
Hello, my name is Maria Rodriguez. My savings account number is 123456.
Which also runs locally. One aspect we were really impressed by was the simplicity of the installation and the ease of using the models. With Foundry Local, we can now create hybrid solutions where part of the solution can be run locally.
It is great to hear from our customers about the ease of use and performance on Foundry Local. Our customers have also been telling us about the apps they are building, how they are integrating Foundry Local into their own apps. We have been building apps too with Foundry Local. For example, just in preparation for build, we built an app that our team members can use to ask questions about some of the build sessions that we have. And I want to show you that app here on my Windows machine. So let me switch over to that. You see my app here. It's a pretty simple app that we built. It has two tabs. It has an Events tab, and it has a Settings tab. And you see that the Settings tab has three settings. You have the AI endpoint, you have the API key, and the model name. And here, the AI endpoint is just an Azure AI Foundry endpoint. It's a cloud endpoint. So it has a model that is deployed on the cloud that this app is going to use. And I have the API key filled in already. I have a GPT-4o mini model that I'm using. So let me go and ask it a question here. What are Asha's sessions. So let me do that, and I'll hit ask. For folks that don't know who Asha is the CVP of Azure AI Foundry, and she's an amazing speaker, and I want to see what are the sessions that she has at Build. And you see that there is one session that she has. Again, this is just using a cloud model. It's on Azure AI Foundry. There's nothing new here that you have seen. You probably have seen a lot of demos like this with Azure AI Foundry models. So I've not shown you anything new yet. What I want to do now is I want to take the exact same code, the exact same app, and I want to adapt it to a local use case using Foundry Local. I want this app to be available for folks, our team members who are traveling from elsewhere, and I want it to be available even when they are on the go. And I want to welcome my colleague Meng Tang on stage here to show you how easy it is to adapt this app for Foundry Local.
Thanks, Raji. Hi, everyone. I'm Meng. I'm a product manager of the Foundry Local. So let me show you the demo how we can run exactly the apps completely local on this device. No cost, no internet, and fast and beautiful. So let me do this. I always hit this long endpoint from whatever the cloud service. So I just put local. And let me using some popular local model. So I can run this 5.4 mini. Let me actually, just let me try if I can run the same question again. So on the back end, it will loading the model probably first time. Oh, yeah, actually it's having more sessions. Probably that's the model and to understand it. But you can see literally we have just changing the endpoint and you can see how it works. But what I'm going to show you is actually you're probably curious about how this actually works in the code. And Foundry Local was designed to be compatible with a popular SDK as much as possible. So it's fully compatible with Azure Inferencing SDK, Azure OpenAI Service SDK, or other compatible the OpenAI SDK. If you are using all of this for your AI application, you literally have no code change. And here's the code that's different. And when we loading the model, you can see the code is, if the user input local, which I just did, it just called this Foundry SDK init function. What does this init function do is it starts the Foundry Local service if it hasn't been started, and then load the model by the model name and into the memory and ready for inferencing. And just 2 lines of the code. The rest is pretty the same. We basically just assign the endpoint and model name to the thing for later the SDK to initialize the client. And that's all. That's all for the local to use the model. And we can see here's some standard client initialization using Azure Inferencing SDK. And for the chat completion, we just using this standard chat completion. There's no difference. So it's completely the same code, just 2 lines of the code change, and you got your thing running on local. All right, so now you probably want to see, hey, it's probably too cumbersome to write a full application just using SDK testing some local model. So Foundry Local has the CRI to help you to run the local model by simply typing some command over here. First, let me list the model which we have today. So you can see a bunch of the popular open source model right now today in Foundry catalog, and we are keep adding the new models into the catalog. And for each model, you probably will see 3 lines of the thing. Each line represents our variant of the same model, which is optimized for different silicon. So for example, I'm running on this device with a powerful NVIDIA dedicated GPU. So it has a CUDA optimized version, which makes the max performance on CUDA devices. And it also has a generic GPU for the integrated GPU. Of course, it's running on CPU. And so, so when we run the command, for example, let me run just whatever the model I just used. When we run the model, Foundry Local will automatically select the best performance variant for your devices and load it and run it. And you can always override the default variant and buy the variant you want. For example, if you don't want to use GPU, you just want a CPU, you can do that. And now we load it. And I always test the model with some of my new favorite prompt. And we can tell whether good model or bad model. This is my new favorite. Draw 20-line ASCII futuristic skyline. This is pretty hard question. OK, so the 5-4 minute, not good. So let's try something else. So that's where we want to explore the model. We know the DeepSeek is better, probably. So let me run this DeepSeek one. And if you have a better devices, you can actually run in the 14B model. Let's try the same thing and to see if that's a smarter. All right, so let me go to this. OK, now the reasoning machine started thinking how to draw the thing. It's definitely better, but it's still not good. So, but you got the point where you can test your model using the different model pretty easily. OK, so now I'm giving back to Raji.
All right. Thank you, Meng. What Meng showed you was how you can use the CLI and the application integration on a PC. And what I want to do now is how you can use the exact same experience on a Mac. So I have my Mac here. Let me switch over to that. And let me log in. So what I want to show you first is that, first, I have a CI/CD pipeline on Azure DevOps where I can build a DMG installer for Mac. I can download it on my Mac device here, or I can distribute it to end users that are using Mac as well. So I already have that. I have a pipeline built for that. You see that there is an artifact that is published already. I can download that artifact. But since I didn't know how the internet was going to be, I have already downloaded the DMG here and installed that application. So let me go ahead and open that application for you. You see that it's the exact same look and feel on a Mac as on a PC. It has two tabs. It has the Events tab and the Settings tab. And in this case, I want to use the local host endpoint because I want to show you Foundry Local on a Mac. And then the API key does not matter because it's Foundry Local. It does not need an API key, so I'm going to leave it like that. But I also want to put in the right model name. So first, let me show you what are the models that I have here on my cache that I've already downloaded. So you see that there are two models that I've downloaded. There's a 5.4 model and a 5.3.5 mini model. What I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the 5.3.5 mini model, and I'm going to put that in the settings here, and then go back and ask it the exact same question that we've been using. What are Asha's sessions? So let me go and hit ask here. While it's processing my question, it is using the local AI here. While it's processing my question, a couple of things about this app. First, we built the app using Electron Framework because we wanted it to be cross-platform. As you can imagine, many of our team members use Windows PCs. Some of us use Mac as well. We want this to be available cross-platform to everybody, so we built it using Electron. We also fed it some grounding data, and so it's using the grounding data in combination with LLMs to answer these questions. You probably did not even notice that was freaking fast. It was very, very fast. It gave you the answers very quickly. So this is the app that we have been building for the sake of helping our team members with the build sessions. But I now want to show you some apps that our customers have been building. And one of those apps is an app that is built by KPMG. And in order to do that, please join me in welcoming on stage Gaurav and Sai from KPMG. All right.
Thanks, Raji, for inviting us here.
Yeah, welcome. And thank you for joining us. I think it's fantastic that you're able to make it. And I've really enjoyed the partnership as well for the last few weeks. So thank you for joining us. Please, would you be able to introduce yourself to the audience here?
Yeah, definitely. So hello, everyone. My name is Gaurave Sehgal, and I'm Senior Director with KPMG Tax Group. And just a little bit about KPMG. KPMG is one of the big 4 professional services firm. What it means is that we provide audit, tax, and advisory services to the biggest clients and biggest customers throughout the planet. We are 125 plus years in this business, and we are really proud to serve our customers. Sai, do you want to introduce yourself?
Thanks, Raji. Thanks for inviting us. I'm Sai Elluri. I'm a solution architect at KPMG. My main focus is converting complex tax requirements into easy-to-use, robust applications, both for our internal users and external clients. I'm so excited to be here.
Awesome, thank you. And can you tell us a little bit about your use case, the app that you've been building with Foundry Local?
Sure. So as we said, we are from the tax group. Many of our customers, when they are working on these tax problems, they go through hundreds of documents, hundreds of PDF documents, scanned documents, and they're very risk averse. Some of them are very risk averse. Although we have all our tools available through Azure Cloud, but they don't want to send their data, or they're not comfortable to send their data directly to the cloud. So that opens up an opportunity for us to allow them use Azure Local Foundry on their local and then process the data. Currently, all the hard work they have to do is through manual copy paste from these PDFs, whereas this allows us gives us an opportunity for them to run models locally and automate their soul crunching tasks. Do you want to add anything?
No, you got it, Gaurav. So data protection and client privacy is paramount at KPMG. And when we heard about the Foundry Local, we were genuinely excited. Like bringing in advanced AI models onto the machines, even without GPUs, is really a game changer.
That's awesome. And what has your experience been like so far using Foundry Local?
So the integration was seamless, right? You guys have done an amazing job. Like with just few commands, I was able to get the model running on my machine. And within 24 hours, we could start prototyping applications, solving real-world scenarios. I would give an example, right? We built a simple desktop utility that can be shipped to the clients where they can drag and drop their sensitive documents. And the LLM running on their machine can understand it, analyze it, summarize it, and then send that information to the KPMG without the sensitive information ever leaving their network or the machines. So integration was seamless, and the model performance exceeded our expectations.
That's awesome.
And think about it, right? Now you guys support Windows and Mac also, and many of our customers use both the platforms. So we are really excited.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
cross-platform has been very important for us, and we've been working very much on ease of use and performance that are very important for us as well. So that's great to hear. Now that you have this pilot, this proof of concept, what is the roadmap? What are the next steps?
Good question. So we definitely want to make lots of money with it. But I think jokes aside, apart from productionalizing this with a few of our clients, we want to connect it to our platform, which we call Digital Gateway. That's a love-given name, right, to our platform, through which we provide all our tax services to our clients globally. And I think for the future vision, we think that we want to bring the agentic capabilities also onto the PCs of our customers, where they just not do some extraction work or simple work, but they can do much more than that. So that's the vision we have.
That's great. So one last question before I know you have a demo to show. So one last question. What are you most excited about with Foundry Local?
So what we are thinking about is building the digital worker that can seamlessly integrate or switch between the Foundry Local and the Foundry Cloud. And based on the client requirement and the client scenario and the workflow needs, it can work with local models as well as the cloud models. Another thing that we are really looking forward for is building or bringing in our own fine-tuned custom small language models that are fine-tuned towards our tax scenarios so that we can get more effective and KPMG proprietary knowledge answers for our client, needs.
Awesome. Yep. Thank you. So I'll not take much more time. Please show us your app.
Sure.
I think you have to switch.
Yep. All right, everyone. So as I've explained before, this is a simple desktop utility that we have built that can be shipped into the client's desktops, where they can drag and drop their documents and remove the sensitive information and send the details that KPMG would need, right? So this is not just for one use case. This can be used for multiple scenarios. And one of the use cases I'd go through is a property tax assistant, right? Think about a property tax bill the client would receive, and they want to send some information without manually taking it out, right? So these tools would be pre-baked with custom KPMG instructions, as well as the instructions that user can provide to the LLM. So this already has a simple instruction, and what they have to do is like drag and drop documents. For the interest of the demo, I'll just pick one document, but they can do multiple documents at the same time. So once they have the documents uploaded, they can just click next, and this would take the document, parse it, and understandable by the local model that is running on the machine. So right now I'm running it with a 5.4 mini model, and I'll show the document. So this is a simple sample document, but the actual documents that our clients have, right, they are more sensitive, and they could have a lot more details that they don't want to send. So I'll just open the response. So it is getting a JSON response, but we can have an Excel generated. The model can convert it to an Excel or populate a CSV. Because it's one single document, it is a JSON object, and they can review the information that is being sent to the firm, and they can email it from right here from the tool. So I'll just put my email. They can again check what's the information that they're sending, and they can just draft an email that would open the Outlook, and they can just click send, where we would get the information. The user doesn't have to manually type in the values, or they don't have to summarize it. That's just a local model doing the job.
So just one more point to add, right? So this is kind of a game changer for us. We can now host an army of digital assistants or agents through this kind of tool to our clients, and then they can send us the data. Here you saw that the JSON output was sent to us. Now our automation services or automation bots can pick this JSON data and process that and get it ready for a tax professionals to look at it, do some number crunching there, do some analysis there, and then provide the output back to the client. So this kind of is a game changer situation for us. So I think that's all for the demo. Back to Raji.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, folks. Let me quickly summarize what you heard so far. A couple of things that I want to call out as I summarize. Number one, Foundry Local is a fast, flexible, private, offline capable, local inferencing solution that you have that can accelerate across different kinds of silica. Whether it's CPU, integrated GPU, dedicated GPU, NPU, Apple Silicon, Foundry Local will deliver the performance that you need. Number two, it's not just about exploring models, toying around, prototyping. It is about building real apps for real people on real devices, and you can do that thanks to our SDK. It's the exact same Azure Inference SDK that you can use in your apps, so your code is portable across cloud and local. You can use the Foundry Local Management SDK, now available in Python and JavaScript, to interact with the Foundry Local Management Service. But that is not all. I have one more thing that I'm very excited about, and that one more thing is all about local agents. Who wants to hear more about local agents? Okay, but before I show you the local agents, because I'm sure you want to see the local agents, I want to talk a little bit about why agents, because I'm sure you've not heard enough about why agents so far at Bell. So I'm going to just land this point. Yesterday, your interaction with AI was all about just putting into your chatbot your natural language prompt, getting a response, going and doing something with the response. You had to do the action. Today and tomorrow, we're moving into a world where agents are going to be able to plan, reason, and act. They're going to be able to coordinate with each other to solve complex problems on your behalf. We talk a lot about agents, but what is an agent? In our world, we think of agents as simply an LLM-based program that can use instructions and tools and memory and use multimodal input to solve complex problems for you. I can talk on and on and on about agents, but that's not what you want to do. I want to welcome 𝗦𝗲𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 a software engineer on the Foundry Local team, to show you exactly how agents can work in Foundry Local. So please join me in welcoming 𝗦𝗲𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me here. I'm 𝗦𝗲𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 and I am a software engineer in the AI Foundry team. And I'm really excited to show you agents with Foundry Local. So let's take a look at how we can do it. So you can access agents with Foundry Agent, and I'm going to run the help command here so we can see what subcommands are actually available. So you can see the first one is you can run an agent. So you do Foundry Agent run, the name of the agent. You can do Foundry Agent list, which will list all available agents in the Foundry catalog, as well as MCP servers that are available in the Foundry catalog, and any agents or MCP servers that you have installed locally. You can do Foundry Agent install, and then provide the names of the agents and or MCP servers you want to install. There's Foundry Agent search, which allows you to search the Foundry catalog for any MCP servers or any agents that you want to use. And Foundry Agent remove to actually uninstall these agents and MCP servers from your machine. So let's run Foundry Agent list and see what I've got. So I'm going to do Foundry Agent list and run that. So this is searching through the Foundry catalog, and it's going to find that there are 4 agents here. There's a file organizer agent, an OCR agent, a time agent, and a web search agent. We can see beneath that there are a bunch of MCP servers that are also available in the Foundry catalog. And then beneath those, you can see I have 2 agents installed locally on my machine already. I have a file organizer agent, and I have an OCR agent, and I have their respective MCP servers installed locally. So let's see how we can actually install one of these agents. So I'm going to run Foundry Agent install, and let's just try to install the file organizer. So what this is doing is an agent has a model associated with it. So you can see up here, we've got an agent, like the file organizer agent has the 5.4 mini model associated with it. So it's going to, when I try to install the agent, first install that model and download it from the Foundry catalog. In this case, I have it installed locally, so I'm good to go. And then any MCP servers that are associated with my agent will then get installed locally. So for the file organizer agent, I have this following MCP server that I want to install. I've already got it installed locally on my machine. And then when I run Foundry Agent list, I would see that it gets updated and shows that the file organizer agent and its respective MCP servers are installed locally. Alrighty, who wants to actually see an agent do something now? So let's run, I've got an OCR agent right here. Let's run it and see if we can do something cool. So to do that, I'm going to do Foundry Agent run OCR agent. So it is associated with the 5.4 mini model we can see here, and it's loading it into memory. And we can see the 5.4 mini model for GPU is loaded. And now the agent is going to load all the MCP servers it wants to use. And it looks like for the file system server, we need to provide the directory that we want the server to access. And the default looks to be our current directory. So let's just use that. And now our servers are up and ready. And we can see there are a bunch of tools available with our OCR agent. You can read a file, you can write a file, edit a file, create or list directories, search for files. We can perform OCR. That sounds exciting. And there are a bunch more as you can see here. So let's see if we can do something interesting. So I've got a receipt in my downloads folder right now. I've got a bunch of files in my downloads folder. I don't know where the receipt is, but it's a receipt from when I went to the cafe. And I need to get the total amount that I spent at the cafe because I'm trying to do some bookkeeping. So let's see if we can use the OCR agent to do that. So I want my agent to find my receipt in my downloads. And then I want my agent to process it. So let's tell it that. So I want you to process it. And then once you've done that, I only want you to tell me the total in my receipt. All right. Let's see what it comes up with. So it looks like the agent is first trying to search my files in my directory. And whoa, that was fast. All right, let me scroll back up and actually explain what just happened, because that was pretty quick. OK, so the agent first was searching files, and it was searching in my downloads folder, and it was looking for any receipts that were in there. It identified the receipt that I want, and then it performed the OCR step. And once it performed OCR, it basically read the image of the receipt, processed all the information, and then it evaluated what was the actual action that the user wanted, which was to tell me the total. And the get output tool was used to actually return the final total from the receipt. And you can see in the final output section, our agents will list step by step what it's actually doing. You can see the MCP server's tool that is called. You can see the parameters that are passed to it. And you can see the output from calling that server's tool as well. So you can see it searched files. It found a file on my machine. It performed OCR. You can actually see the full list of what's in my receipt here. And then in the final output, you can see the total, which is $8.39. Pretty cool, right? So let's see if we can take this up a notch. So you might have heard in Satya's keynote that we now have support Windows Actions within Windows. And Windows Actions are basically MCP servers exposed that allow you to do operations on your Windows machine. Let's see if we can use Windows Actions with Foundry Local. So I'm going to open up my VM. Oh, looks like it's locked. Let me unlock it. OK, perfect. And let's see what I have installed in my VM right now. So I'm going to do Foundry agent list to see what we have available. And we can see we have a bunch of agents and servers in Foundry. We can see there's a background remover agent installed locally. And then beneath that down here, I want to call out the available MCP servers from the Windows MCP registry. So you can see there are 4 available servers right now. Rest assured, you have access to all the MCP servers in the Windows registry. You just have to choose which ones you want to install locally on the machine. And I've got my background remover agent, which is connected to one of those servers. So let's see if we can use that agent to do something. So I've got this photo of myself here. It's got basically a headshot. And let's see if we can remove the background from it. So I am going to do Foundry agent run background remover. And so it looks like this agent is using the 5.4 CPU model. So the previous demo was showing you the 5.4 model running on GPU. This will be running on CPU. And the model looks like it's loaded successfully. And we can see what tools are available with our agent. So we can see there's a remove background option 1 to do it, another version of removing background, which is option 2, a get output tool if I was, let's say, chatting with the model and I needed some just information returned, and the exit tool. All right, let us see if we can remove the background. So remove the background from me.png in my downloads folder. All righty, and just as a reminder, this is the 5.4 CPU model, so it is going to be a bit slower than the 5.4 GPU model that we were seeing previously. But these models are still relatively quick, and we should get the output just like that. There you go. So we can see that the paint action remove background tool is being invoked. And now you might be wondering, why isn't the agent printing any more information right now, right? Like in the other demo, we saw it print stuff right away. Well, at Microsoft, security is really important to us. And all these Windows actions and MCP servers that are exposed can do things on your computer on your behalf. But we want to make sure that we always have user permission to take those actions before we actually do something. So if I go here, I can actually see there's a pop-up that says, allow Foundry Local to access an MCP tool, basically yes or no. So I'm going to give it access to do it. And if I go right there, the background's gone, right? Pretty awesome. And now let's check in on our agent if it knows that basically the task has been completed. So we can check in on our agent, and it returned operation successful. Pretty awesome, right? So in conclusion, agent mode in Foundry Local is available today in private preview. And you can interact it with the command line as I did here today. And we are working on improving the agentic experience and enabling you to use agents in the Foundry Local SDK as well. Thank you very much. And I'll pass it back to Raji.
Thank you. Wasn't that an excellent, excellent demo? I'm so excited by it. And thank you, Kunal, for showing it off. Let me wrap up. Foundry Local enables local cross-platform AI-powered apps. It's available for you not just for exploration. You can write apps that are running on over 1 billion Windows devices. You can write apps that are running on Mac OS as well. You can write apps where the code does not have to change between Azure and local. I'm very, very, very excited to bring you Foundry Local today, but I'm even more excited to see what you're going to do with Foundry Local. Here is all our call to action. Please go ahead and read our docs. Please go ahead and sign up for the Foundry Local agent private preview. Thank you very much.